Hello, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news where we talk about all the latest transfer news and give it that real fan opinion. Now, I'm going to talk about Bale, I'm going to talk about Sandro, I'm going to talk about a couple of other players as well. I'm going to start off with Pulisic. We had the great news last night that Willian wants to stay at Chelsea and he's happy in London. I think it's great news that we're not going to get a 30-year-old who's short-termism. No matter what people think about Willian, and I have wanted him in the past, he would be a short-term signing. You look at someone like Pulisic, apparently he's available for £65 million. Chelsea apparently the favourites for him. Liverpool interested. United not even on the page for Pulisic at the moment. But exactly the sort of player that in a time gone by, not too far ago, Manchester United would sign young, exciting players and turn them into world-class players. The thing about Pulisic is he's not even a risk. He's well on that well on that path anyway. He's about to turn 20 in September. Got a lot of Champions League experience at Dortmund. Playing for a decent team in Germany. He's on that path. Yes, he's still got development in him. I've heard some people saying yesterday he's not right for us now. A couple more years. But if he wants to leave Dortmund now, you get him now. Because if he goes to Chelsea, he's never coming to United. If he goes to Liverpool, he's never coming to United. So, yeah, maybe ideally you want him at 22. But the reality is, if it's now or never, it's now. And this was the same thing we had with Ronaldo all those years ago. Maybe it wasn't the right time to get him. Maybe a couple of years later would have been okay. But we took him. It worked out more than well. So Pulisic is a player that United should be going for. I think he's a player that Manchester United Football Club would want. Massive for the American market, which we seem to have downtrodden on this transfer window. It's not been great. Our attitude to America, the negativity from the club and the manager won't have done us any favours there. But if you sign someone like Pulisic, you suddenly take hold of America because that's their best player. So that would be great from a branding point of view. But personally, none of that's relevant. He can come from Australia as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't matter. I would want Pulisic at Manchester United because he can play on the right, he can play on the left. He's a very, very talented player. And I've been on about him for about two years now. A bit like Pereira, really like him. So if we could get the Pulisic deal done, great. £65 million. I think he's cheap at that price. I really do. Unfortunately, at this point, United aren't in for him. But, as I said, Willian not coming to United. We want a right midfielder. It opens it wide open now. Does that mean that Pulisic is realistic? Are we wrong to sleep on Ousmane Dembele at Barcelona? I mean, we were linked to him at Dortmund a year ago. He went to Barcelona for £135 million. He's not happy that Barcelona have signed Malcolm. Does he become available now? Or do we snooze on that and he goes to Liverpool or Arsenal or something stupid like that on loan? Maybe United go for him. Barcelona do have good relationships with Liverpool though. So, you know, Dembele is another one that I just feel that at Manchester United, I know Jose signed a couple of players who are around 22, 23, but they've been centre-backs. I think when it comes to wide players especially, does Jose want to put the work in for wide players? He certainly doesn't want to do that with Martial, 22. Dembele, Leon Bailey, Pulisic. Are we missing out on these players that would be perfect United signings because our manager doesn't want to put the work in? That concerns me. Gareth Bale. Now, what I would say is I hope Gareth Bale, because he's playing for Real Madrid tonight, which we will be live, midnight, we'll be live, watch along tonight for a 1 o'clock kickoff UK time, Manchester United versus Real Madrid. Gareth Bale will be involved, wasn't part of the World Cup, so he's part of the Real Madrid squad. I hope over the next few hours that Gareth Bale, probably after that game, comes out and gives some sort of statement about his future. Because if he says he's staying at Real Madrid, any slim hope that some United fans are clinging to that he's going to come to United can be forgotten. Because I guarantee over the next 24 hours, Gareth Bale to Manchester United will be mentioned. Apparently, Ed Woodward was at the hotel of Real Madrid last night. Now, I can't prove that. It's only things I've seen on Twitter. Maybe he's there, cup in hand. Gareth, please come to Manchester United. I've done the calculators. We'll sell so many shirts. We'll make so much money. Please come, please come. But in all seriousness, Gareth Bale to Manchester United would make everybody, not just Manchester United fans, stand up and go, wow, what are you doing, Ed? It would be a good signing. As I've said, though, I wouldn't complain if Gareth Bale came to Manchester United. It would certainly solve our right midfield problem. But if you're offering me Gareth Bale or you're offering me Maguire and Sandro, I'll take Maguire and Sandro every day of the week because to me, the most important signing this summer was 2 midfielders and a left-back. That was all I wanted out this summer. I said, what did I say? I said Sandro, Milinkovic-Savic and Fred. And I said I'd be happy with that. I don't know whether it would have won us the league, but I think it would have solved the problems we've got in the squad. and obviously keeping Martial, which I don't think we're going to do. Martial is gone as far as I'm concerned. And if Jose's only got himself to blame, and I think he's probably quite happy about it, but I think Martial's gone. So that's why we need a right midfielder. But with regards to the midfield situation, well, let me talk about Sandro first because he is on there. Sandro, Juventus, played against Benfica at the weekend, scored in a penalty shootout win. Sandro, apparently, personal terms agreed with Manchester United a number of weeks ago, but Manchester United are not going to do the deal because they don't want to pay the money for Sandro. And that's the problem, isn't it? You know, we hear that Manchester United board back Jose. They've got the money there for him, and it has been a challenging market, and they do empathise with him. Apparently, there's no issue. Simon Stone was saying last night on Twitter, the BBC reporter, very credible, said that there is no issue between Woodward and Mourinho. But I fail to understand why there isn't an issue between Mourinho and Woodward, because we know we didn't get Perisic last year, and that cost us. We didn't have somebody who can put a cross into the box all season. And Mourinho wanted Perisic and Woodward didn't deliver. So how can you sit there high-fiving that man going, yeah, everything's fine, even though you didn't give me something that would have made me better? How can you not have an issue with a man who didn't give you Perisic and now isn't going to give you Sandro? And Sandro's going to be like Perisic to me. Next season, when we're not doing well and the left-back situation is still a problem, I'm going to be looking back to that summer like I look back on Perisic and go, we should have got Sandro. He was available. The terms were apparently agreed and we wouldn't pay the bloody money. And this is the problem. The left-back position for me, if we signed the left-back in the next 9 days and that was all it was, I'd still say we needed to do more business, but I'd be a lot happier than I am about a centre-back and a right midfielder. I think a left-back is so important and it doesn't look like we're going to do it. I hope that we will. We live in hope. With regards to the midfield situation, Milinkovic-Savic, there was some rumour that Milinkovic-Savic hasn't turned back for training at Lazio, but then I read something else that he'd been given an extra 2 days and that Lazio think he's going to stay there. Milinkovic-Savic may well go to Chelsea, and I think the reaction on social media, and I might even not be able to stop myself typing this out as well, oh, look at Chelsea, straight in, get Milinkovic-Savic and we don't. When I'm being pragmatic and calm, like I sometimes am in the morning, Milinkovic-Savic to Manchester United makes no sense now. I did want Milinkovic-Savic back in May. I said Sandro, Milinkovic-Savic, Fred. I would have been really happy. But two things happened that sort of stopped it ever happening. As soon as Fellaini stayed, that was the end of Milinkovic-Savic anyway. And Fellaini staying at the club is a disaster in my opinion, but that's only my opinion. But the positive is Andreas Pereira. I never thought in May that Andreas Pereira, as much as I've been going on about him for years, and I love Andreas Pereira, and I think he will be one of the best midfielders in Europe, I thought he was going to be doing that elsewhere, because I thought when he pushed to go to Valencia last season, when Jose Mourinho wanted him to stay, I thought, Jose, very stubborn, you cross him, you're screwed. It hasn't gone that way. What has happened is Andreas Pereira has been a revelation. He's been exactly the player I know he can be, and a lot of you know he can be. He's been brilliant. And I went into this summer saying we needed 2 midfielders. Regardless of whether Fellaini stayed, we needed 2 midfielders. We got Fred, but we've actually got Pereira as well now. He's like a new signing. He's brilliant. He must play. We don't need another midfielder. I'd be now disappointed if we went and signed a Verratti or someone like that, because I believe that much in Pereira. I don't want another midfielder. We've got 2 new midfield signings this summer. We've got Fred and Pereira, and I trust them both. We don't need another midfielder. So the midfield option for me is over. With regards to the centre-back situation, Harry Maguire, Sky Sports reporting yesterday that Leicester manager, is it Puyol, saying that he's confident that Harry Maguire will stay. And this is the situation, isn't it? With Harry Maguire, I wouldn't mind him coming to Manchester United. I still think it's probably going to be Alderweireld at the moment, although I do sway one way to the other each day. I don't want Yerry Mina. I said this last night. You can follow us on Instagram. I don't care. We would never have been in for him if he hadn't scored a couple of goals in the World Cup. He's a desperation signing. If we sign him, I'll back him and I'll hope he does well. He has got some good traits, but it worries me, Mina, because it's like everybody we really wanted we can't get, so let's make a desperation signing. Barcelona are getting rid of him because they don't want him. They've just signed Clement Longley and they've got Umtiti and Piqué. They don't want Mina. Now, that says to me, he's not as good as Umtiti, he's not as good as Piqué, he's not even as good as Clement Longley. So why are we signing him? I hope there's nothing in it, because I think it's a risk. It's a big risk signing, and we shouldn't be making big risk signings. I said this at the start of the summer. The signings Manchester United make this summer have got to be top-class signings that give us the chance to fight for the title. I don't think Yerry Mina is any better than Eric Bailly or Victor Lindelof. So you may as well play those 2 and save your money. Yes, so that's the situation with that. Was there anybody else I wanted to talk to you about? Age issue, Lindelof. Yes, Lindelof. Apparently, French sources were saying yesterday, Lyon were interested in signing Lindelof. Mourinho has put the halt on that and said no. Whether that's true or not, Lindelof should not be going anywhere. Every time I've seen Lindelof play, apart from that Huddersfield game, he's looked to me like he could be a top-class centre-back, whether it's for Sweden or Manchester United. What I think he needs is a run of games. And remember last November, when everybody was bloody injured, and it was Smalling and Lindelof and Rojo in a back three, and we played well against Arsenal, we played well against Watford. Lindelof was brilliant, and he did it again in February when people got injured. So I think Lindelof deserves his chance. I think he's a good centre-back, and Mourinho bought him. Play the lad. I like him. I want to see us play. I want to see us sign a centre-back, whether it's Maguire or Alderweireld. I want us to see us play 3-5-2 properly, and I want to see Lindelof, Bale and the new centre-back. That's what I want to see, with Smalling as a backup. I don't want to see Jones in the team next season. So I want to see Lindelof playing, and I'm glad, if there is any truth in that, he's getting game time. Anyway, please do drop a like on the video. Give us your thoughts. Lots to discuss. Who are we going to go for now Willian's off the page? Dembele, Pulisic, Perisic. Give us your thoughts on that. Bale, what are your thoughts on Bale? Is it nonsense? Do you think we'll hear anything about it? Alexandro, left back, is that over for now? Centre-back situation, what do you think about Mina? Would you go for that? I don't know. Midfield, do you agree with me? Do we need another midfielder? Would you want us to go and get another midfielder? There's been talk of Aaron Ramsey and stuff. Are you happy with what you've got? Get your comments in below. Lots to discuss as per usual. Remember, live at 8 o'clock tonight with a Skype show. And then a few hours after that, we're doing a watch-along for Real Madrid versus Manchester United, the last US Tour game. So lots to get involved with. And I've got my surprise for you tonight at 8 o'clock. So make sure you get involved. Unless something else happens today, I'll see you at 8 o'clock. If not, I'll be going live again. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon.